Well, students, so today we are going to discuss our, second paper. This is a exam preparation class. So we are going to discuss our second paper, right, guys? Till then, we see, what has come in the first paper. So first paper, guys, you have given on the 5th. Okay, when we see the first paper, in a first paper, the question has come in the compulsory unit. What is the concept of a human growth, right? So we know about the growth already. Okay, I've given the notes. And concept of a parenting style, it is a easier one, and it is a same again has come from the previous because this question has come on the previous, right, on the previous paper. Meaning of a marginalizations and concept of a socio-emotional development. Okay, so if we see the unit 1, in a unit 1, this is the paper first, childhood growing up, right? And unit 1 may the same question is come from the previous one. Discuss the principles of a growth and development and needs and problem of adolescents. Okay, and unit 2 may Piaget theory has come and the Kohlberg theory has come. Unit 3 may it has come socialization. Discuss the role of a school and community in the child development and discuss the implications of a social and cultural change on the development of a child. Similarly, in a unit 4, role of a media and marginalization and stereotyping influencing the child development. So guys, this is your paper which you have given on the 5th. So we have come to know that this paper has more than 90% question has come from the previous paper. Okay, so today in our exam preparation class, again we will discuss the last year paper. Okay, in our exam preparation class. So this is our last year paper. Okay, second paper, contemporary India and education. Okay, you have to appear for this exam on 8th. So all the instructions, you know that. Okay, 5 questions, any of the 5 questions you have to do. You are already aware of that because you have given a one exam. So just see the exam, previous year exam, contemporary Indian educations. In a unit 1, which is a compulsory, 4 question has come. Equality of opportunities, concept of experiential learning, objectives of Indian education system, and concept of modernizations, right? And in a unit 1, discuss education and fundamental rights with reference to article 14, 15, 16, 21, 8, 30 of Indian Constitution. And third, discuss the status of the education of minorities in India. So guys, basically, I have prepared, one notes for you. Okay, I have solved this last year paper and I have made a, Word file. So we discuss from the Word file, and after the class I'll share this file with you, right guys? Side by side I open the file, Word file, because from there already I have mentioned all the questions which came on the in your previous exams. Okay, I think the font size and screen is readable to all of you. Okay, so this is your last year paper. This is the compulsory paper. Okay, these are the unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, and unit 4. Okay, guys. So now we discuss one by one. Okay, so first, okay, I have opened the same file, sold last year paper file. Okay, I'm discussing with you, and after the class I will share this file with you. Okay, guys. So first question. Compulsory questions. Under this compulsory questions, you know that 4 question comes, right? Okay, the first questions came the last time, equality of opportunities in education, right guys? So how I will proceed, I will discuss little bit of particular topic, the answer of a particular topic. Okay, because we have already covered our second paper. Okay, today this is our exam preparation class. In our exam preparation class, we will discuss the last year paper. Okay, but very swiftly, right? So equality of opportunities in education, guys, you should know that. So under this question, when, if this questions comes on 8th Monday, if this questions come, equality of opportunities in education, what you have to write? You have to write about the, every person's, even man or woman, they should get the education, equality of education, irrespective of color, caste, creed. Okay, irrespective of these things, they should enjoy equality of educations, right? So as in the answers I have mentioned, there should be an equality of opportunity in educations where everyone has fair and equal access to a good quality education, regardless or irrespective of social background, race, gender, region, color, caste, creed. Okay. So again, equality of opportunities refers to the fairness of a process through which individuals with different backgrounds or from different social group reach particular outcomes such as educational or occupation. Okay. So you have understood, under this questions, you have to write about equality of educational opportunities where men and women gets the equality of educational opportunities irrespective of color, caste and creed. So along with this answer, guys, you can also write, measure taken to achieve equality of educational opportunities. So under this questions, equality of opportunity, this is your questions, equality of opportunities in educations. Okay, this is the first questions. Okay, you can see in your last year paper. This is your last year paper. Just see it, contemporary Indian educations. Okay, so under a compulsory question, we are discussing the first short question, equality of opportunities in educations. Okay. So now I shift to the word file, equality of opportunities in education. You can also write under this, these are the measures taken to achieve the equality of educational opportunities. Under this answer, this question, you can discuss about, guys, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, midday meal, Kendriya Vidyalaya, National Institute of Open Schooling, community polytechnics. Okay, basically what these are the schemes which which was started by the government of India for the equality of educational opportunities among men and women, right? You know about the SSA, na, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Under a SSA program, primary education students, they enroll. Okay, and they get the benefit. Even you can also talk about Right to Education 2009, right? RTE 2009 Act, it talks about free and compulsory educations to everyone, right? So first questions we have discussed, we are done. The second question came, concept of experiential learning, right? Side by side, guys, I open the last year question paper. This is the last year question paper, contemporary Indian education. First, we are done. Equality of opportunities in education. Now, we are going to discuss the second short question, which came last year, concept of experiential learning. Okay. So now I shift to the, word file. So I have made a notes for you. After the class, I'll, share this file with you. In this class, we understand the concept of experiential learning. Okay, we have already covered in our, previous lectures. Okay, short, you have to understand. Under this, you have to talk about experiential learning. Okay, definitions of the COB and, the 4 cycle which was given by the COB. First of all, what is experiential learning? Experiential learning means learning through action, learning by doing, learning through experience, learning through discovery and exploration. This is called experiential learning, right, guys? So you know about it because we have already discussed this topic. So if you can learn, guys, you can write the definitions of a David Cobb. Okay. So when you write the definitions, so definitely you will get a good marks. Okay. If you can remember. Okay. What the David Cobb, who was the David Cobb? David Cobb gave the idea of a experiential learning. Okay. You must remember. Okay. What the David Cobb has said? David Cobb has said, learning is a process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. Right? Means we get the knowledge through our previous experience. Okay. For example, we have done the idealism now. From where we get the knowledge, we get the knowledge by ideas. Idealism says that. Pragmatism says that we get the knowledge through action. Similarly, under the experiential learning, David Cobb has said that learning is a process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. Okay. And these four things you have to write, guys. Okay. This is a four cycle of four main elements. First is concrete experience, second reflective observation, third abstract and active experimentation. Okay. Malab, these are the four stages of a experiential learning cycle. Okay. When the questions comes of the experiential learning, you must define these four stages of experiential learning cycle. Okay, guys. So I have explained all the 4 points. Under a concrete experience, it's a hand-on experience, right? Reflective experience, we need to reflect to learn our experience. Abstract conceptualization means we have identified and understand the defining characteristics of an experience. And last, active experimentation means now we have come to know, and this is a time to act upon it. Right, guys? Okay. Now the third questions came, objectives of Indian education system. Okay. So I show you the paper. This is our paper. Okay, last year paper, contemporary Indian education. The first questions we have discussed and done, concept of experiential learning done. Third is objectives of Indian education system. So guys, you are aware of Indian education system. Huh? What is the Indian education system? Indian education system is also called the Kothari Commissions. Okay, it was given by the Kothari, 1964-66. Okay, so what was the objective of Kothari Commissions? Yeah, Indian Education Commissions. So these are the objectives I have defined. Okay, these are the main points. Okay, do research to improve the quality of the education, present appropriate suggestions to the government in formulations of education policy in India, highlight the shortcomings of Indian educations, implement Indian educations equally in every province, right? These are the features. And the fourth question is concept of modernizations. Okay. So just see that this is the concept of modernizations. Okay. So modernizations, you have to talk about the modernization means it includes the social change, adjustment with the modern times. It is modernization means when one is ready to accept new ideas, new things, right? This is called the modernizations. Okay. This process is directly associated with the factors like attitude, inspiration, and values. Okay. Whenever it changes, modernization process begins. Okay, guys. So under this, I have making notes for you. Okay, you can define the characteristics of a modernizations under these questions. Okay, guys. Now, we start our long answers. Okay. So just see in the paper. Okay, yeah, these all the 4 questions we are done, right, guys? In section 1, these 4 questions: equality of education, equality of opportunities in education, concept of experiential learning, objectives of Indian education system, concept of modernizations. Okay, I hope you have understood. Okay, otherwise I'll share this file with you. Okay, guys, you can learn from there. Okay. Next, unit 1 में the two questions has come. Number 1, discuss education and fundamental rights with reference to Article 14, 15, 16, 21A and 30 of Indian Constitution. And second questions came, describe the status of education of minorities in India. Okay. So I open my Word file. This is the Word file. This is the question, right, guys? So just understand the questions. I have already told you in our first exam preparation class, you have to learn, see the question at least 2 times, 3 times. You have to, learn the question, what the question demands. Okay. First, you have to understand the question, then you have to start writing it. Okay. So it is talking about, it is asking from you, you have to define about the education, fundamental rights, and some of the articles, Article 14, 15, 16, 21A and 30 of Indian constitutions you have to define. Okay, guys. So education, you can define about the education kya process hai. Okay. Then you can talk about the, fundamental rights of, what are the fundamental rights? Okay. Fundamental rights are the, compulsory rights. Article 14, 15 or 16, you should know that Article 14 to 18. Okay, just to understand, Article 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. These all the articles starting from 14 to 18 talks about the equality. Okay, so it is easy to remember. Just see it. First I have defined about the educations. Okay, then what are the fundamental rights? Education as a fundamentals and human right. What are the fundamental rights? Features of the fundamental rights. Okay. Then, articles. Articles 14 to 18. Right to equality. So these are the equality rights. Okay. The questions came, na? In the questions, we have to explain only 14, Article 14, Article 15, or Article 16. Right? So, this is the Article 14. It talks about the, equality. Right? Or Article 15, it's talk about the prohibitions of discriminations on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. So it also talks about the equality. Prohibit मतलब रोकता है, stop करता है ना, stop of discriminations, right? Prohibitions of discriminations. And Article 16 talks about equality of opportunities in matters of public employment. Right, guys? It is again very simple. It also talks about the equality. Okay, so I have defined for you. Okay, you can learn from there. Article 21A, it talks about right to education. Okay, so you have to talk about the right of life and dignity of an individual cannot be assured unless it is accompanied by the right to education. So that Article 21A declares that state shall provide the free and compulsory educations to all the children of the age of 6 to 14 years in such a manner as the state may decide. Right, guys? So it is talking about the RT 2009. So 21A, it talks about the right to education. What is a right to education? Right to education means the person should get the free and compulsory educations up to the age of 6 to 14 years of age, right? And Article 30 talks about the right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions, right? So it also talks about the equality, because now this article talking about the to give the right to minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. You have seen, na, guys, there is a, when you talk about, in a Haryana may, Sikhs are in minority. In Punjab, they are not in the minority, na, but in the Haryana, they are in the minority. But in a Haryana, you will see many of the institutions, they are the Sikh minority institutions. Okay, so that this article protects the minorities. So guys, in our first questions, discuss the education and fundamental rights with reference to Article 14, 15, 16, 21 or 30 of Indian Constitution. So these all the article talks about the equality, right? So first question is a very easy. In fact, I have made a very good notes for you, easier notes for you. Okay. The next question is that we see in our syllabus. This is our last year paper, Contemporary Indian and Educations. Okay. So these first already we have discussed. Just second questions we had discussed under a unit 1. Now, the third question is, describe the status of education of minorities in India. It is a very simple, guys. Means we have to talk about the status of education among minorities in India. Okay, we have to talk about. Okay. So along with this, I just want to show you your syllabus, from where this question has come. Because of that, I have made a, combined notes. Okay. So just see your syllabus. 7th and 8th. This is your syllabus, right? This is your paper 2 syllabus, guys. Just see the syllabus. Okay. Now it is clear. Contemporary Indian education. This file is your syllabus. Okay. This is our unit 1, right? Unit 1 may what is in our syllabus? Equality of opportunities in education. And second may education and fundamental rights. So this portion we have discussed. Right? Now see the second one. Under a unit 1, see the second part, which I have shaded, which I have, selected. Now, read this part. What is written? Status of education of socially disadvantaged segments, namely SC, ST, OBC, women, PWDs, and minorities. Status of education. That question has come from that. Okay, from this syllabus. Okay, this questions. Now see the paper. This is the paper, last year question. Describe the status of education of minorities in India. Okay, it has come from the here, right? So guys, this is my word file. So both questions I have discussed. I have made a notes of both the questions. Okay, describe the status of education of minorities as well as status of education of a socially disadvantaged segments. Actually both are the same thing. Okay, socially disadvantaged person या minorities, both are same, right? When you talk about the SC or ST, they are the minorities, and as well as they are the socially disadvantaged person also, right? So I have made a combined notes. First, I have defined what are the socially disadvantaged person, right? What are the social disadvantaged persons? There are various types of the person, modes of discriminations of a disadvantaged sections. Okay, physically, mentally, socially, culture, educational or emotionally. Matlab any of the person who is physically disadvantaged, they have the physical problems. Okay, mentally problem, socially disadvantaged, culturally, educationally backward. Okay, these all comes under the category of a socially disadvantaged. Okay, now the various groups, I have made a heading, the various groups identified for facing discrimination. Naturally minorities or socially disadvantaged persons, so naturally they are facing the discrimination due to their social disadvantage status because of the SC. You have seen that SC person, scheduled tribe persons, backward class persons, even women, even minorities, they cannot get the equal opportunities, because India is facing this problem since independence. Okay, so under this questions, under this heading, we have to talk about what are the status of these, right? So I have defined all the status, like, okay, first I have defined the scheduled caste, then scheduled tribes, then backward class, okay, then women, okay, and the minorities. Need of a development of a socially disadvantage. What is the need of? Why? What is the need? What is the importance of development of a these socially disadvantaged person? Why? Because when they would be skilled, so definitely they can contribute for the development of the nations, right? Otherwise they will hamper the development of the nations. Okay, so we have to care about that. We have to take care of these socially disadvantaged persons. Guys, I give you the example. Anna, you have seen in many of the schools, because government has said that every school they have to reserve at least 25% seats for the SC candidates. But you can tell me how many schools they are following this? Okay, because they know that if they will allow the SC, so they don't have to charge any of the fee from the scheduled caste person. So they give that particular seat to the general category, even school, colleges, and others ones. Okay, so this is a reason they remain behind. So there is a need of development of the such kind of a persons or minorities or socially disadvantaged persons, right? This is the current status. I have made a notes of a current status of a socially disadvantaged group. This is the current status. Okay, girls enrollment also at the secondary education's level, I have made the notes. Okay, why, what is the reasons? Okay, less girls they are enrolled in the educations. Okay, boys are more in the secondary educations. When you talk about the primary educations, okay, there is equality, but what happens when secondary education starts, yeah, higher education starts, so then there is a less enrollment of the girls. Why? It has, I have defined here, right? Because of the child marriage, because of the violence, poverty, all the points, even COVID-19, ye bhi point I have mentioned. What is the importance of a girls' education in India? I have made a small note of this. And major initiatives for improvement of a girls' education in India. Okay, what are the major initiatives which was taken by the government? Some of the articles, okay, that talks in the favor of the girls, and some of the schemes which was launched by the government of India. Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya scheme, national program of education girls at the elementary level, national scheme of incentive to girls for secondary education. In some states may governments give incentives for the education of the girl. Indira Gandhi National Scholarship Scheme, right? Sakshar Bharat, Udan scheme, Pragati scheme, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme, midday meal schemes. So these all talk about the enrollment of the girls' education or strengthening the education of the girls. Okay. Then again, I have made a notes of a status of education of minorities in India. Even this question has come. You can see that this is a question: status of education of minorities in India, right? So this is the status of education of a minorities. Okay, you can add, just above we have discussed, you can add this also, or even separately I have made a notes of this, right? Okay, next we go for the fourth questions. Explain the main recommendations of the Adams report. Okay, just see our syllabus. So unit second done, third question is done. Under the unit 2, The fourth question, explain the main recommendations of Adams report. Right, guys? This is our last year paper, Contemporary Indian and Educations. We are discussing our fourth one. Okay. So under this, you have to talk about all the three report which was given by the Adam, right? The name of the person is a David Adam. Okay. He came from the Scotland. Anna, you know that. We have already discussed that. Okay. Even I have made a notes for you. He is a Christian priest of Scotland, William Adam. Okay. The name of the full name is William Adam. He came to India in 1818 and spent about 27 years. He came into contact with Raja Ram Mohan Rai, and both of them influenced each other. He was greatly impressed by the Indian views regarding the existence of a one almighty God. In due course, he renounced Christians priesthood. Lord William Bentinck, on that time, 1818, he was a Governor General of India, guys. Okay, he appointed the William Adam in 1835 to survey the state of education. Okay, he appointed the Lord William Adam to survey the status of education in Bengal and Bihar. Right. So he submitted the report in three report. Okay, these are called the Adams report. Okay, so basically Adam report is nothing. It talks about the status of educations, okay, in India, in Bengal and Bihar and others. Okay, where he survey what is the status of the educations, what is the literacy rate, okay, what type of schools are there during 1818, 1825. Okay, how many types of schools are there, okay, how many boys are coming, girls are coming, what is the literacy rate. These all the status of the educations during that time in India. So he submitted that report to the Governor General on that time, who was Lord William Bentinck. Okay, so these are three reports. It is an easy one. Adam first report, okay, Adam second report, okay, and Adam third report. Nothing else. Okay, so if the questions come about explain the main recommendations of Adam report, so you have to talk about all the three reports, okay, which was given by the Adam to the Governor General Lord Bentinck, right? So these questions we are done, right? Fourth. The fifth question, describe the concept and needs of Naitalim. Discuss its relevance for Indian education system. Guys, many times we have discussed Naitalim scheme, work education, which was started by the Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, so we see over the notes. I have made a notes for you. Describe the concept and needs of a Naitalim. Discuss its relevance. This is the Naitalim. Okay, Naitalim is also called the basic education. Okay, what is the meaning of the Naitalim or basic educations according to Mahatma Gandhi? He says that knowledge and work cannot be separated. Okay, right? So this is all about the Naitalim scheme. Okay, and again, it is a main principles of a Gandhiji Naitalim scheme, and you have to define the relevance or significance of a Naitalim scheme for Indian education. Okay, in a one line means knowledge and work are not separated, right? Means he talked about the craft along with the as a educations, right? So it is a Naitalim basically is a philosophy of a learning and living. Okay, it is also include the creating of a new things. This it must be continuously recalibrated and reimagined in dialect conversations with what is happening in the world around us. Promotions of entrepreneurship through learning of various aspects. Okay, these are the relevance. Okay, First, you have to talk about the ninth limb. It is a basic scheme, okay, which was given by the Mahatma Gandhi, and according to the Gandhi, knowledge and work cannot be separated. Through ninth limb. Then you have to talk about the relevance of the ninth limb scheme in Indian education system. So these are all the significance or relevance of a ninth limb in Indian education system. Okay, guys. So these questions we have done. So our next question is, fifth questions we done under a unit 3. The next question is, describe the objectives of Secondary Education Commission. Again, it has come a very easy questions. Okay. So Secondary Education Commission, it is also called the Mudaliar Commissions. Okay. It was given by the Mudaliar. Okay. In a Secondary Education Commissions. Okay. We see our notes. I have made a notes, for you also. In fact, we have already discussed, okay, even in our today's lecture, I have solved the last year paper also. Describe the objectives of Secondary Education Commission. The Secondary Education Commission is also known as Mudaliar Commission, appointed by Government of India. Who was the Mudaliar? He was the Vice Chancellor of the Madras University. Okay. He was a chairperson of this commission, which was called the which is called the Secondary Education Commission. Okay. So guys, under this Secondary Education Commissions, you have to talk about, what the Mudaliar has said regarding the secondary education. So basically, he said that there should be a 7 year. The time of his secondary education should be 7 year, which is divided into 3 plus 4. You can see, in the answer, means objectives of the this 52 53 secondary educations. Okay, these subjects should be there. Okay, curriculum should be of 2 types, right? So these all subjects, humanities, science. Okay, you know that now when the student goes from 10th to 10 plus 2, either he goes into the humanities, or either he or she goes to the medical line, science line. Okay, so it was all given by the Mudaliar secondary education. This is called the secondary education, guys. One is a primary education from first class to 5th class or 8th class. It is talking about the primary education. Secondary education is 6th to 10th class, 6 to 10 plus 2. Then after that, higher education comes. Okay, when we talk about college educations and others. Okay, so this is called the secondary education from 6 to 10th or 10 plus 2 senior secondary. Okay, so these all the secondary education, talked by the Mudaliar under the Secondary Education Commission 52-53. Okay, means what would be the subjects, what would be the course curriculum, okay, what should be the time of that secondary education. So many of the things, so we know that about 10th or 10 plus 2, right, guys? So you have to talk about 1952-53 Secondary Education Commission, all about this, right? Okay, next question has come. We see, discuss the major features of program of action, POA. It is called the POA. You must remember POA 1992. Basically, it came after the National Policy 1986. Ye dekhiye, I have, first of all, I have made a, I have written this. The National Policy 1986 required reformulation. A committee reviewed the NP 1986 and came up with a detailed program of action, and the POA 1992 was framed to give suggestion in this regard, right? So POA, program of action 1992. Okay, the question is asked, what are the major features of program of action? So under this questions, we have to write, major features of program of action 1992, along with, you can also define the, major features of the NPE 1986. Okay, because what is a POA? It is a just reformulations of 1986, right? Policy 1986. So these are the major features early childhood care and education, universalizations of elementary education. It talked about. Under this, you have to talk about there should be universalizations of elementary educations. There should be a secondary educations. Navodaya Vidhalaya to improve the quality of education should be there. Women education, stress, emphasis on the women education. Adult educations, micro planning, education for students with disabilities. So these are the some of the major features you can define under this along with the NPE 1986. Right, guys? Okay, so 7th questions we are done. So last unit we are doing unit 4th. Okay, just read the questions once, twice, thrice. Already I have told you many times, so that we will come to know what the question demands and what we have to write. So the question is, explain the objectives of Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. ठीक है, शिक्षा है ये word. Okay, it is not E, it is I. Okay, describe its role in achieving universalizations of a school education at secondary level. Right, guys? So guys, actually I orally discuss with you okay, just to know that basically it is a RAMSA, RMSA, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. It is talking about these questions, nothing else. Okay, so what happened when there was a lot of a article made now for the primary level of education, because there is a free and compulsory education from 6 to 14, just we have read under a article and under a right to educations. Okay, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, we have done it. So these all the things was the in favor of the primary educations. Okay, but once the students, all of the students, they have done the primary education, after that there was a less enrollment in the secondary educations. Okay, in order to improvement of students in the secondary education, okay, this responsibility was given to the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. Right, whatever the schools you are looking in the Punjab and other areas, secondary education schools, okay, how many teachers they have to appoint in the secondary education, these all guys are done by the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. Right, in fact there should every 4 kilometers there should be a one school. Okay, and there are teachers who are trained for the secondary educations, even B.Ed. Now once the person completes the B.Ed, he is eligible for the secondary educations to teach to the secondary educations. Always remember, right, for a primary educations teacher, the teacher should have the DLD diploma or JBT. JBT teachers can teach to the primary education. For the secondary educations, B.Ed teacher can teach to the secondary educations. Okay, and for the nursery classes, entity teachers. Okay, so after the primary education, okay, when the government started to construct the the schools for the secondary education, so there is a need of a well qualified teachers who can teach to the classes of a 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Okay, these all the done, everything, each and everything is done under the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. Right, guys? I think you have come to know that, you have understood that. So the same thing you have to write is, right? RMSA, the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan is a flagship scheme of Government of India to enhance access to secondary educations and improve its quality. Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan aims to increase the enrollment rate by providing a secondary school within a reasonable distance of every home. Right? So it is, talking about asking about RMSA and what is the role of a RMSA in achieving the universalization of a school education at secondary level, right? Means he wants to say that, tell me, for the universalizations of a school education at the secondary level. So we all under this, we talk about the RMSA, how the RMSA proves for the universalizations of a universalizations of a school education at secondary level, right guys? Main objectives of a RMSA. Okay, ye dekhiye, there is a, every school should, secondary schools within a 5 kilometer, higher secondary school within a 7 to 10 kilometers. Okay, so these all things you have to talk about RMSA, right? So our last question is, discuss the concept and need of vocationalizations of a secondary education. Okay, so here you have to talk about vocationalizations at the secondary educations. Okay, so vocational education, so this is a, I have made a notes for you also. Vocational education is concerned with the training on vocation, right? It means when the student goes to the secondary education, they should have a knowledge of a vocation also. Okay, because guys, we have seen that now what we are doing that now after 10 or after 10 plus 2 now, when the student goes out of the school, what he is getting, so there should be a provisions of a vocationalizations at the secondary education's level, so that when the student will leave the school after the 10 or 10 plus 2, not only the 10th or 10 plus 2 degree he should have, he should also have one vocation, he should have one training, he should have one skill, right? Training about the skill. So when he will leave the school after the 10th or 10 plus 2, along with the degree of a 10th or 10 plus 2, the candidate should have the skill, right? Or this is called the vocationalizations at the secondary education's level. Okay, vocational education is concerned with the training on vocation. It is related to the productivity. Vocational education prepares individuals for job. It has adequate employment potentialities. It helps in broadening of horizon. It leads to dignity of labor. It is helpful in maximum utilizations of the material resource of the country. When vocational education is mixed with the general education, it is called vocationalization of education. Okay, means student is learning as well as simultaneously he is getting a knowledge of particular vocation, right? So that it helps for the job. Like guys, you have seen the polytechnics in the IITs, polytechnics. Okay, these all talks about the vocationalizations. Okay, after the 10th or after the 10 plus 2, and a student gets the skill in the electricity, electricians, he becomes the electricians, and a lot of the skills in the in this polytechnics and IITs even. Okay, so it is talking about concept of need of vocationalization of a secondary education. Okay, so these all things, okay, you have to talk about vocationalizations at the secondary education level. Okay, this is one. And these are some of the additional notes. Okay, so even you can read these additional notes also. Okay, some of the articles which is in the syllabus I have defined. Okay, RMSA I have defined, right guys? So this is done about your last year paper. Now we see our syllabus. This is our syllabus. Okay, in last year paper we have seen, okay, we have discussed the last year paper fully, and as well as guys, just see your syllabus. Unit 1, Indian education system. So this portion we have done completely. Articles 14, 15, 16, 21A and 30. You have seen that. And here we are done with this part. Status of education of a socially disadvantaged segments, namely SC, ST, OBC and women. We have done it. The questions came now. discuss the status of education of minorities, among minorities in India. We are done. So guys, now we discuss the important questions which you have to prepare. Number one, the last year paper you have to prepare. We have already discussed all the paper, right? Even all the 9 questions I have solved for you. I have discussed in the class, in the exam preparation class. Now what you have to do, number one, you have to do the last year paper along with the main question, the main important, okay, I'm discussing with you. You have to do the RT, Right to Education Act also. Okay, you can note on your copy also along with, because this is a very easy one. Okay, it is a just similar with this, you know, free and compulsory education. A lot of articles we have done it now. So you also finish Right to Education Act. I have given the notes on this RTE Act 2009, right? So basically, these questions you have done, these questions you have done 2, and here from these questions you are done 3 questions. Okay, means in a 1 unit 3 questions are prepared. Okay, now in a unit 2, just see it, Adam report. Hana, we just discussed the Adam report. Okay, Adam report we are done. Macaulay minutes, if you remembered, okay, we are also done the Macaulay minutes. Okay, I have given you the notes also, separately notes on this Macaulay minutes, right? And third one is basic scheme of educations, concept of need of a Untitled, philosophy of a work education, and experiential learning, right guys? So under this unit 2, you have to do this one, right? Basic scheme of education. Okay, under this 3 things have come. Number 1 is Untitled, number 2 work education, number 3 experiential learning. Okay, this one you have to do. Adam reports we have done and Macaulay minutes you can do, right guys? Okay, what you have to do in the unit 3, important questions I'm telling you. The first questions we have just discussed, right? 1952-53, right guys? 64 and 66 you know better. Okay, many times we have discussed about the 1964-66. This is called the Kothari commissions. Okay, this has we have discussed POA 1992. Okay, and national policy on education is 2020. You must do it. Okay, because it has added. Okay, it was not last year, it has added. So you have to work on new education policy 2020 also. We have already discussed, okay, in the previous classes, right? National policy of education, right guys? Okay, and then contemporary issues in Indian education's unit 4. So under a unit 4, just see it. We are done universalization of a school education. Okay, we talked about RMSA and IED SSA, right? SSA notes I have given to you. Okay, additional notes now I have given now. So in the additional notes I have talked about the SSA and MDM वगैरह, midday meals वगैरह, and DPEP. Okay, you can do by yourself, right guys? Okay, the second question, see it, vocationalization of a secondary educations. We just finished. Okay, so this question you also have to do. Okay, and modernizations we done it. Okay, in a modernization, third question, this one you can do. Okay, and if you want, so you can do this, otherwise you can skip this, right guys? Because only 5 questions you have to do of your choice, or even 7 or 8 questions we are done from all of the 4 units, right? Even 9 questions I have discussed with you from the previous year papers, and some of the notes I have given. So okay guys, thank you so much. This is the end of the class, and I hope you should give the exam very well, right guys? So once again, thank you so much guys.